Hello and welcome to video number 9. I'm going to talk about security and controlling your Hangout. Unfortunately, with any Google Hangout session or any meeting or any classroom setting or anything, you're always going to have that one or two person group that tends to be the class clown. Now, there's a time to joke around and there's not a time to joke around. Now, obviously, you don't need to be doing this if your boss is in the same Google Hangout session. But if you have a webinar and somebody is acting up and they are, getting rowdy, they're editing the main window and just messing things up, you need to give them a boot. And I would be upfront. I would say in the beginning, I would say, okay, everybody, here's the rules. So people are aware of the rules. And people are aware that if they start abusing the session, that you need to take action to make it worthwhile for everybody else. Because everybody else is having that experience, and their experience is going to become sour because of that one person. So you want to make sure that that one person doesn't ruin it for everybody else. Be upfront with your rules. Be clear, be transparent, and say, hey, I'm going to have to mute everybody when it comes to this point. And then save your questions till the end. And then, of course, if you got somebody who's acting up, you can always boot them. Now, there are several ways to go about doing this. And the reason why I say be upfront and be clear is because if you mute somebody, they will be notified that you muted them. So that's kind of a downside with Google Hangouts in comparison with other webinar softwares that I've seen. But apart from the apps, it's definitely powerful. But that's one downside. So for example, if I click this little microphone here, and let's say, for example, my name is John, and Bob Smith here is just getting all rowdy. He's being that class clown and he's being really annoying. If I click on mute, then what's going to happen is he's going to be muted. Usually the best way to approach the system is to be clear and upfront and just say, hey, everybody, I'm going to mute everybody. So what you can do is go to the chat and simply do /?, and you're going to be able to see the available commands. Now, if you look closely, it says /mute. And what that does is it mutes everybody. And then you can unmute when that time comes. Or you can also mute the video of the caller as well. So that's something that if you're aware of and you can be clear and transparent and upfront, it just makes it easier in the long run, and you don't really have a lot of hard feelings if you're upfront about it. The problem arises normally if you do not make those rules up front. Somebody comes in, they become the class clown because they think it's funny, but they could be a potential client, and you mute them, and it says that you've muted them. And because you haven't necessarily, been clear about it, they're probably going to be pissed off and leave and never buy your product again. But at the same time, if you're using that as a means to qualify them and you really don't see them as a good customer, then, that's your decision. So I wanted to make that clear so that you understood how best that you could approach this situation, but at the same time understand what features of the Google Hangout system are available to you for that purpose.